Hello everyone, it's Tuesday here at the Drive-In on TBS EFM 101.3 in Seoul and GFN 98.7 in Gwangju and in 93.7 in Yeosu. I'm the go-to guy for the hour, Brian Ju, on the Drive-In, and the weather is getting a lot colder outside. Actually, it's been chilly since last week. As you can hear my voice, I'm a little raspier because I'm in and out of a cold. I'm taking all my vitamins, but still, it's so cold outside and dry that even with all the vitamins and all the hydration, it's not really having any great effect on me right now. But I'm still making an effort to stay healthy for you guys and stay strong for the next hour. And today, we're going to have a great show for you guys because we have the, go-to guy for the hour is Brian Ju. So the go-to sidekick for the hour is Mr. Jason Besservase, and he'll be in the studio with me shortly talking about K-Films, because today is K-Film Tuesday. But right now we have a wonderful song for all the ladies out there, because I know all you ladies love this movie. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I think I enjoyed the first one, but all the sequels after that went downhill for me. So here's the 2001 movie Legally Blonde soundtrack, and this is Hoku with Perfect Day. Once again, that was Perfect Day by Hoku from the Legally Blonde first movie original soundtrack. And right now, I just want to tell you guys how to get in contact with us in the studio. You can call us at 02-778-1013. Send us a text at #1013 for a charge of 51. Or email us at efmdrivein@gmail.com. Or simply send us a tweet, because that's what all the kids are doing nowadays anyway. It's at efmdrivein. So if you guys have any requests or you guys want to hear your favorite songs from movies or TV shows, feel free to just let us know why you like this song, why you want to play the song, and we'll try to get that to happen for you guys. Alrighty? And right now it's time for the scene of the day. Alright, today's scene of the day, we're going to go back to the 1970s when the United States was coming off the height of the civil rights movement of the 1960s, and studios began to realize that there were not enough American or African American protagonists in films. So it opened up an entire floodgate on films and TV shows about the black experience in America. It was at this time that there were a lot of historical type films that tried to tell stories about real events that were important in the African American community. And these were good, but sometimes people don't want to be taught a lesson when they go to watch a film, but there was still a big untapped market, the black action star. And today we have Samuel L. Jackson, Denzel Washington, Danny Glover, Wesley Snipes, just to name a few, but there's many, many more African-American actors that are huge in action films right now. I feel like African-Americans in action films who weren't villains. Also, we have the movie we're going to talk about today. In 1971, this film came out. It was a huge success. And they redid this movie, but the first one came out in 1971, starring Richard Roundtree. And this is the movie I want to talk about with you guys today, and it's Shaft. Actually, before the movie came out, I knew the song first, so the song was pretty popular to me. And then I figured out, oh, it comes from a movie. Anyway, Shaft is a black detective who is hired by Bumpy, a drug lord, and he has to find Bumpy's innocent daughter, who is taken hostage by enemies. And initially, Shaft does not want to help Bumpy out, but then he listens and he knows what's going on. Actually, instead of me explaining the whole situation, you take a listen to the clip and you'll know what I'm talking about. Check it out. This actually makes me feel like I'm tapping in on a private phone conversation, and I'm like spying on this conversation, this whole scene right now. That's how good it is, because it's acting, but it sounds so natural. And in this scene, Shaft is hired by Bumpy to find his daughter, like I said earlier. And Shaft doesn't want to do it at first because he thinks it's all done by these evil, weirdo people. But then he realizes that the daughter is actually innocent and he decides to help out. So Shaft decides to help Bumpy in the end. And Shaft is widely considered as the most famous blaxploitation, that's a hard word to pronounce, film ever made. And in reality, it is a common detective story, but the fact that most of the characters were African American made it somewhat controversial. And on the other hand, it was good for the black community that there were an intent to make the black hero. But on the other hand, there's so many racial stereotypes in this film that some say was actually not good for the image of African Americans. Either way, it was one of the defining films of the genre. And in 2000, it was remade with Samuel L. Jackson, tongue twisters today, in this role. So I think he played Shaft pretty well. I saw that version. That was a great movie. And everybody probably has heard of Shaft, even if they haven't seen the movie. Shaft is very popular. You say Shaft, everybody knows of him. And this is actually a song we're going to play for you guys right now from the movie. And this is Isaac Hayes singing Shaft from the Shaft original soundtrack. Once again, that was Isaac Hayes singing Shaft. I wish they should change my logo song to that. Like, choo, Brian, choo. Could you imagine? Yeah, people will probably be confused. Eugene and the producer right now, they're getting ideas. We're going to work on that track. It's going to come out in 2015. Hopefully, I'll still have this program and still be DJing here at TBS by then. But we'll just keep that in mind. Anyway, I just want to let you guys know what's coming up on today's show. We have Mr. JB, Jason. You guys are probably thinking Justin Bieber. No, Justin Bieber is not in the studio today. We have someone cooler than Justin Bieber. We have Jason Beshevace, who will be talking about Korean films today. So stick around for that. That'll be right after Intermission. But for now, I want to talk about another song. And the song that I'm going to talk about right now is from a classic film. I say classic for the kids nowadays. People who are born in the 2000s think that 1989 is a historical time in their lives. 1989 wasn't that too far off from now. But this next song comes from a 1989 film, Driving Miss Daisy, starring Morgan Freeman, Dan Aykroyd, and Jessica Tandy. And Tandy plays Miss Daisy, who is a 72-year-old Jewish widow in the late 1940s. She gets into a car accident and finds out that no insurance company will allow her to drive, so she needs to get a chauffeur if she wants to go out and about in her car. And that's why she hires Hoke, played by Morgan Freeman. But it's not so simple as that, because Miss Daisy lives in the Deep South and she suffers a lot of racism because she is Jewish, and Hoke is also a victim of racism because he's African American. Look at that, all the racism in America back then. And she was initially not aware of the severity of racism toward blacks until they take a trip to Alabama, and even the police mistreat both of them. And this is a really good film. You guys should watch it. It was nominated for 9 Academy Awards, and they won 4 of those awards. So let's take a listen. This was requested by 1312. Yes, 1312 requested this song. And this is actually Louis Armstrong, the man himself, with Kiss of Fire from the Driving Miss Daisy soundtrack.
I know that I must have your kiss, although it dooms me, though it consumes me. The kiss of fire. Burn me.
Once again, that was Louis Armstrong, the man himself with a deep voice, with Kiss of Fire from the Driving Miss Daisy original soundtrack. And right now, I want to play another song request from May Ann, and it's from the musical Miss Saigon. And this musical is about a young Vietnamese woman who falls in love with a U.S. soldier during the Vietnam War. She gets pregnant right before he is sent back to the U.S., and he has to raise a kid by herself. Or she has to raise a kid by herself. And eventually, when they meet again, she learns that he has married someone else. And he learns that he has a son. Oh my gosh, it's a heartbreaking musical. I actually saw this twice. It was a great musical. I saw this in Korean and English versions of this musical. You guys should definitely check it out if you have a chance to. It's a quite tragic tale, but I mean, it's a love story. It's a romantic story. And I'm pretty sure all you guys would like this musical. It's very, very good. So here's Sun and Moon from the Miss Saigon original soundtrack, requested by Mayan. And right after that, we're going to have Mr. Jason Beshevace in the studio after Intermission. And then we're going to talk about K-Film Tuesdays. And I'm pretty excited because Jason always has really good Korean films to recommend for all of us. So look out for that. But right now, we're going to play the song request. And this is Sun and Moon from the Miss Saigon original soundtrack. Check it out, y'all. Bonjour, je m'appelle Brian, and today is K-Film Wednesdays with Jason Beshevace. Yeah, that's my French imitation. Jason is in the studio with me right now for K-Film Wednesdays, or Tuesdays. I'm getting confused too because we switched days up. It's K-Film Tuesdays now. What's up, Jason?
What's up?
How do you feel right now?
I feel good. I'm a bit croaky, but yeah.
I know that feeling right now too. I've been coughing all day and sneezing.
Yeah, yes. There's so many bugs going around right now. It's that time of year, unfortunately.
The drastic weather change and everything.
Yep. So I feel okay, just a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Feel like I've got a bit of a cold coming along, but
you have a cold coming on. You should be taking. Do you know? What's that medicine called? I forget. I took it in the States because I was getting sick, and somebody told me to get it. It's an organic drug. It's all herbal, all natural, and it actually fights. It works against cold, diseases in the beginning stages of getting a cold. It helps a lot.
Oh, I think I know what you mean. I used to take this nasal spray. It's really good. You take it just before you think you're coming down with a cold, or if everyone else has got a cold around you, and it stops you getting it. So basically, it stops the cold spreading. So if you come down with a sore throat, you use it, and the cold will just stay in the sore throat. It doesn't go into your nose or anything like that.
Well, I'll be sure to ask you what that is called after we play a song. Right now, we can't say it on the air. But today, we're here for K-Film Tuesdays, and what's the film that you brought with you today?
Okay, the movie that I chose today is The Man from Nowhere, also known as Ajashi, and this was made in 2010. It's a very, very popular film, and it's also become one of those Korean films that non-Koreans often talk about, because it's travelled quite well as well. And it's directed by Lee Jung-bom, who made a movie back in 2006 called Cruel Winter Blues, and stars, of course, Won Bin. Now, Won Bin, he's kind of the heartthrob of Korea, a very popular actor. He was in Mother in 2009. He's also in Taegukgi, Guns and Talks. And he actually plays the part of Tae-shik, who's the main actor in this movie. He plays it really, really well. And he kind of goes against his kind of image in this film, which is what I liked. It also stars Kim Se-ron, Kim Tae-hoon. And in terms of the synopsis, it follows a quiet pawn shop keeper with a violent past, who takes on a drug and organ trafficking ring in hope of saving the child who is his only friend. It's kind of a dark movie in some ways.
I've had friends around me tell me to watch this movie. I still haven't seen it. I know it's a great film. I've only heard great reviews about it. But apparently it's got some sadness to this movie as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the happiest film you'll ever see. But the action sequences are absolutely fantastic. The director, Lee Jung-bom, he really knows how to execute some really, really strong action sequences. I'm a big fan of stylistic cinematography, and this film is really, really good in that regard. And so if you like a good action movie, actually 007, James Bond, this was an influence on the director, I heard.
Oh, okay.
I went to a Q&A of this, the director, he gave a Q&A after this movie down in Busan a couple of years ago. And I was fortunately, I was there, and I got to hear some of the stuff he said. And one of the things he did say was that he was influenced by 007. So you can kind of see that in this film.
So it's like more of an Asian MI6 style movie. 007 James
kind
Bond
of, yeah. I mean, I would say it's definitely a lot darker than the
okay.
average 007 movie, apart from the more recent one, which was quite a dark film in itself. But yeah, it's quite graphic as well. I mean, I think it's got kind of like 18 or an R rating movie. So if you don't
children
like
under 18 should not watch this film.
Definitely not. I wouldn't say it's not as bad as other Korean movies, but nonetheless it's quite violent. And some of the themes in this movie, like trafficking kids and organs,
is it as violent as that movie I Saw the Devil?
It's not as violent as that. That's kind of like an extreme example of
what violence is.
Yeah, like that movie is pretty violent. Like a lot of people hated that movie. In fact, that movie was edited because it was so violent. I actually like that film, so maybe one day we'll talk about that film.
Okay.
But in terms of this film, yeah, definitely it's quite dark. Some of the underlying themes in the movie are quite serious and quite bleak. But on top of that, it is an enjoyable film.
Okay.
So try not to be put off by some of the kind of disturbing underlying themes of the movie. It's definitely worth watching. And of course, Won Bin, who I really like actually. He is definitely a pretty face, let's be honest. But I think
guys look up to him. Yes.
But what I liked about this movie, and I think that one of the reasons why it's successful, it made around about 6 million admissions in the theatre. And for a movie with this kind of rating, like an adult an R rating, that's pretty impressive. And I think one of the reasons was, yes, this is a kind of a masculine movie, but I think girls, I could be wrong here, but we're drawn to Won Bin's kind of presence, his kind of muscular presence, and he plays this kind of, because in his previous roles in dramas and films, he's played a more kind of kind of a boy, a pretty face, kind of melodramatic. But here he's more kind of serious, and he's kind of 007, kind of.
Oh, so he went from like a boy to a man, pretty much.
Yeah, well, he plays a secret agent, so he was a former secret agent, so he's kind of a 007, I guess. And he's certainly
even in Taegukgi, he played more the younger brother.
Exactly. So he has that kind of image, and then that's kind of changed recently, not only with this movie, but with Mother as well, which is a Bong Joon-ho movie in 2009, where he plays a boy or a young man with learning difficulties, and he's really, really strong in that film as well, and perhaps in the future I'll talk about that film. But yeah, this film definitely worth seeing if you like action movies. And I've actually come to like this director. He seems to be making films. When I went to the Q&A, he said he tends to make films every 4 years, and so he was kind of comparing it to the World Cup. So he made a movie in 2006, then this movie in 2010. So maybe in 2014 we'll see his next movie. And he was suggesting that he might make a movie about terrorism and how terrorism plots are always foiled in movies.
Okay.
So that sounds quite interesting.
Definitely looking out for that.
And another interesting thing to mention is that one of the things that he said in the Q&A was that he doesn't like it in films when the main action hero will take one guy at a time. And so in the last action sequence, you see him taking all these men at once. So, because when I was watching the film, I thought, that's interesting how he just takes them all at once, simultaneously. Okay. You don't see him, because, if you watch a Van Damme or an Arnie movie, like he'll take one man and he'll go on to the next man, which is a bit unrealistic, because in theory, they would go
They'd all jump in all the same time.
jump at all the same time. But here he kind of has a go fighting all the men at the same time. So.
Okay. Well, we're going to actually listen to a song from the soundtrack, and this is Mad Soul Child with Dear from the Ajashi original soundtrack. Once again, that was Mad Soul Child with Dear from the Ajashi original soundtrack. Jason, you want to talk about what's out this week, don't you?
Yes. Well, the big movie that will dominate theatres this week, of course, is the final Twilight movie, which is interesting because that'll go head-to-head with A Werewolf Boy, which has kind of been labelled as the Korean Twilight. Okay. So I'm really curious to see how those films do this weekend. But one of the big local releases that is out this week is Jackal is Coming, also known as Codename Jackal. I'm not quite sure what is the English title. This is one of my grips with... or one of my issues with kind of some Korean movies.
Well, if you want to make it a direct translation, Jackal is coming is actually right.
But I think, I think the actual English title, so I heard, is Codename Jackal, or Jackal이 온다 is the Korean title. Okay. And the film stars actress Song Jin-ho, who is in A Frozen Flower, and popular singer-actor Kim Jae-jung, who's from Dr. Jin. Do you know the singer? Kim
Jae-jung?
Yeah. But anyway, he's in a Korean maybe I've pronounced it wrong, but he's in a Korean drama called Dr. Jin. Okay. And the film was directed by Bae Byung-jun, Once Upon a Time in Seoul. That was his movie in 2007. And this movie is about a female killer called Jackal who kidnaps the greatest pop star there is. So to be honest, I'm not really a fan of this kind of film. You sometimes see them kind of creeping into Korean cinema.
Like the pop scene mixing in and...
Not a big fan at all, but... Okay. Nonetheless, it might do well if it's made well. I haven't seen it, but it does star Song Jin-ho, who I quite like. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay. I think unless it's really good, I can't see it doing well because, like I said, Werewolf Boy is so popular, and Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 being released. It's going to face stiff competition this week. But you never know, like things never certain, so it could do well. But I'll probably have to go and see it because I'll probably have to review it. But
it's not a choice.
I'm not overly excited about this film at all.
But actually, if you think about it in fairness, your job is fun. You get to watch movies for work. That's got to be fun.
Yeah, it was true. Like I guess one of the great things, well, many great things, is that I get to see movies and I get to see them all the time. And when people are working, I get to see movies.
But this is your work, though. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
You would rather not be on the streets on a cold day building a railroad track or anything. You'd rather be in the theater watching a movie with a bucket of popcorn.
Yeah, but there's only so many buckets of popcorn I can eat.
Do you eat popcorn when you go to the theater?
I tend to eat it when I go with my wife, but if I go, like, quite often, when I go to a press screen or whatever, and I'm there by myself, I tend to just take a bottle of water with me. Otherwise, I get really fat.
You're skinny.
Well, not really, but...
Yes, you are. Are you one of those people who are skinny everywhere else and you have like a little tummy from eating a lot? Or because I know a lot of friends like that. I call them skinny fat friends because they're thin, but they still have a little bit of a belly. Yes, our writer Eugene has a little bit of belly fat. He admits it. Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd say I'm probably one of those. Down to all the well, I like drinking beer, not too much beer. But,
okay. Beer will do that to you.
So yeah, I try not to drink too many fizzy drinks because otherwise, yeah, you do get like a beer belly, right?
That is true. Alrighty, well, yes, you guys heard that first. Mr. Jason does not eat that much popcorn at theaters, nor does he drink a lot of carbonated drinks because it's not good for the stomach. I just wanted to mention that because we always talk about films, but people want to somewhat personally know the people who come out on our show sometimes. Like me and Mike, we goof off all the time, Olivia, and I felt like the Jason needs to open up more to our listeners. So now you guys know Jason does not like carbonated drinks. Are you happy, guys? Anyway, with that said, we're going to play a song from actually this actor, Chejung, who's in this film. We're not going to play the original soundtrack from the film. We're going to play an original soundtrack from the film that he was in. This is from Dr. Jin original soundtrack. A drama, actually. Drama. Dr. Jin original soundtrack. This is Chejung singing 살아도 꿈인 것처럼. Once again, that was 살아도 꿈인 것처럼 from the Dr. Jin original soundtrack, sung by Chejung. And finally, listening to his voice, I know which Chejung this is. This is the Chejung that I personally know. I thought that was another actor named Chejung who also sang. So that was Chejung with 살아도 꿈인 것처럼. And we want to say goodbye to Mr. Jason. We were supposed to say that before the song, and I totally forgot because I was still mind-boggled thinking, who's Chejung? Which Chejung? Actor, singer? So I just want to say thank you for coming on our show again today.
You're very welcome.
And thank you for recommending great Korean films, as always.
And you're very, very welcome. And I'll bring another Korean movie that I really, really like and can recommend next week.
Cool. And right now we want to play another song for you guys. And this is a song from the film Ella Enchanted. It came out in 2004, which was a fairy tale film about a girl who has a spell put on her so that she does whatever she is told. And it was meant to help her mother, who was having trouble because Ella was so disobedient. I know a lot of mothers have that with their children these days. And unfortunately, though, her mother died when she was young, but she still has to do whatever people tell her to do. And this made things more complicated when her father remarries and her two stepsisters figure it out. And in the end, she gets to marry a prince because that's how all fairy tales end. Yes, that's true. Fairy tales have a rule to their storyline. And here's a song from the soundtrack. This is Elton John with Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Now, see you guys tomorrow. This is Brian Ju signing off. Peace and chicken grease.